basically what I'm wanting to go over today is how the select tool can actually save you a little bit of time during the business day in order to help your bottom line. Now, most everybody knows the different methods of selecting objects using our standard select tool. Some might know about the select within tool, and then maybe a few others might actually understand and know about the select by attributes. So I'm going to go through some of these options here. This will be fairly quick, but at the same time, hopefully be very, very beneficial. So as I was going over earlier, most everybody understands the standard select tool. So by using our standard default settings, where when we use the select tool, I can single click on an object and that will actually select the object. I can also hold my shift key to add to that selection as well, or I can click and drag a box around it to fully enclose it, and whatever is fully enclosed will actually be selected. Now with that, there is an option if I wanted to select just this one box without selecting the one on the red one. There is an option here. I can double click on the select tool. I can then choose by touching. When I choose by touching and I hit OK here, anything and everything that my select box touches will be selected. So as you can see, the black box as well as the red box are selected as well. The nice thing about this utility is you can toggle in your design back and forth to where you can go back and double click and go back to fully enclosing if you want at any point in time during the design of your layout. So those two options really are pretty standard and not really anything special for anybody, but it does come in handy to be able to double click back and forth between fully enclosing as well as by touching. Now there's one other thing that does come up. For example, if I select this box, let me actually create a new file for just a second. All right, I'm going to click and draw 3 different files. Okay, so from here what I can do is I'm going to select this first one. So you notice all I did was single click on it. But if I hit my tab key, it will go to the last one or to go to the next one in the list here. So I can actually single click on one and tab, and it will select the next option or the next design or next piece of the design itself. All right, so just using the tab key, you can kind of bounce back and forth as well. Now with this, what you will be able to do is, as I scroll down here just a little bit, I also have, by clicking and dragging out my select tools, I have this lighter color or white select within tool. And basically what that allows me to do is select within a group or inside an object that has a special effect applied to it. So for example, if I use my regular select tool and I click on this rectangle that actually has an outline, or I'm sorry, a shadow to it, and you'll notice the shadow tool is actually here in Design Central. I can change the color of that shadow, but I really can't change the color of the original rectangle. Using the Select Within tool, I can actually use that Select Within, single click on that rectangle, and then give it a different color. So the Select Within allows you to go in and actually select the object that's inside of the effect itself. Now with that, going through drawing a rectangle with a circle here, I can take these two objects and let's go in and let's combine and weld these. So now that is a single piece, and I single click on it, obviously selecting it, or I can click and drag my box around it. But let's say, for example, my customer decided they want this portion of the circle on the top side of this rectangle. Well, there's several things you can do. You could select it, and something this easy, sure, just rotate it and go from there. But for argument's sake, let's use the other tool. I'm going to use my Select Within tool, and then I'm going to click on that circle. Now I can actually click and drag to move it. Once I have it in place, I let go. And when I click in a blank area, you'll notice that object is still welded to the original piece. So again, using the Select Within, I'm able to select an object within a special effect or group or compound. So next in line, and this is one that I run across quite a bit, is if you've got an extremely complicated file, I'm going to temporarily just get rid of all of these here so we can go through and look at just this design or just this layout. But let's say this was a complicated design, and I want to actually select the object that is that one color, the magenta, or I want to select just this one color, red. I should be able to go in and select within, and that works just fine. But if there's multiples, that can be sometimes a little bit of a problem. So a lot of times selecting different colors of black, for example, if you print a file and you have two different colors of black, you've got an RGB or spot or CMYK black, they will actually print slightly different. Some you'll actually notice will be a little bit thicker than others. So one thing that you can do is I can go up to the edit menu and I can go to select, and I'm going to choose by attribute. And you also notice the shortcut keys. So by choosing attribute, I can now actually go through and choose all kinds of different options, or from all kinds of different options. So I can choose a specific object in this, as in a specific bitmap. So when I hit OK here, you notice only this one is actually selected. So from there, we can continue to go back to the select by attributes. So if I wanted to choose a specific color, I can do that as well. So I can choose the RGB black. I can scroll down, and you see all the colors in this file. There's another black that's probably supposed to be that, but it's honestly, it's probably part of this gradient. But if I wanted to change those two, I can click on OK, and it's only selected the object that's going to be in those two. And this is mask, so it's going to have that multiple option here. But going back up to the edit and select option through attributes, I can also go in and choose strokes, or I can choose any special effects that are applied to this as well. So if I need to go in and edit a specific text function or something along that, I can very quickly choose this and then go in and actually change anything within that font from there. So it's one of those things that most people know about most of these, but keep in mind there are some other options here within the select menu that should allow you to save a little bit of time and just, as you know, 5 seconds for each design, or every 5 minutes, if you can save 5 seconds throughout the business day, that's going to save you 5, 10, 15 minutes, which that in the end of the week is going to actually build up and save you some money as well. So several different selection tools that you can choose from, and again, just keep in mind going to select and looking at those, you have all of the shortcut keys as well, such as Control-A. D will take you directly into the select by attributes and go from there. So if you forget where the select within tool is, just keep in mind double click on your select tool and you can choose by fully in touching, or click and drag out your toolbar, no different than any of the other dockable toolbars. So that actually came up during my workshop just recently in Seattle and was able to save quite a bit of people a lot of time. So hopefully that will help out in being able to now choose or select by attributes, as well as select by all of those attributes, color, as well as whether it's a bitmap or anything along that lines. Will hopefully save everybody just a little bit of time. So that's really, that's all that we were really wanting to go over, is just about a 10 or 15 minute video on the actual select by attributes. So I'll go ahead and bring the screen back up so we can go through and answer any questions that anybody might have, and we'll go from there. All right, sounds like somebody or some were still having a little bit of trouble with the sound. So hopefully they were able to get that taken care of. So has anybody got any questions that I might be able to help out here? Oh, Rick was asking, this was on a previous webinar, going back to the job info session. How do I enter keywords for searching? I'm having difficulty with this. Okay, so let's go through that just real quick. So I'm going to start a new file here. And all we're wanting to do is basically, when you're designing a file, you will be able to go up to the edit menu, and you can go into job info. So job info is where you plug in all of the data for that specific file. So that could be job number, it could be delivery date, and as Rick was asking about keywords. So if we type in rectangle for keyword, and this could also be the name of the company, or it could be a specific material, or anything along that lines. So we'll go ahead and click on OK, and then we're going to click on File, Save As. I will save this just to my desktop and call it Untitled and save. So now that we actually have that information saved, you've got to be able to recall that information. So within the Flexi software, what you can do is go up to the File menu, and you're going to go to Find File. So when you choose Find File, I can actually search or look in a specific directory. So let's see if we can't go back to the desktop here. All right. And then here I'm choosing keywords, and then I can type in rectangle. And then we hit search. And let's see, that may have put it in a different folder, or I misspelled rectangle. But essentially you should be able to go through and find that information. Let me just check on this PC, for example, or here we go. That'll probably be it. And then search. So as searching there, I just had the file path incorrect. It's saving to my OneDrive. So from there, I was able to open up that file and show me the preview. I can also click on Job Info to see the details that I actually typed in, or double click to open that file. All right, hopefully, Rick, that helps out. All right, so we've got a few things here. Yeah. No, if it says no job or no object meets criteria, I'm not sure exactly what that means, Jarrett, as in what tool that you're in, for example. I don't know if you're in the Find File or something along that lines, but give me a little bit more detail, I might be able to help. How do you select a single point on a shape? Okay, that's a really, really good question. So the trick is on a shape, by clicking and drawing an actual shape, you cannot select individual points, because it's actually a smart object. So if I want to select only one point, I need to actually take this rectangle and actually convert it to outlines first. Now it is a series of points that will allow me to use, oops, clicked the wrong one here. It will allow me to use the path editing tools to where I can select that one point, and I can then move it or do anything along the lines too. So we can add points, we can subtract points, or you can use all of your path editing tools and capabilities now that you have that converted to a path. All right. So let's see here. What about multiple keywords, space or comma? Rick, good question. I haven't tried that, to be honest with you. I believe it's just a space that it will actually work. So that may be something we need to try out there. So let's see here. Jarrett has objects listed, and when I select it, such as a circle, it errors out. It has the objects listed. So I'm thinking that's where you actually are in select by attribute, possibly. So if we draw a circle at that point and unselect everything, edit, select by attributes, it should select both of those. Now the only reason it may not is for some reason, again, if it's been converted to paths, but if it has been converted to paths, it should not show up as a circle there. So if I now converted that, let's go back to select by attributes. As you can see, circle's not there. So that's a little confusing. I'm not sure what's going on with the doesn't meet criteria type there, unless there's something already selected within it. Oh, let's see here. Let's see, is distort or in distort? You can rotate to get the distort you need. Yes, you certainly can. Is there a way to distort a bitmap image? No, within the Flexi software, there is no way to actually distort a bitmap image. But one of the more popular questions that come up on distortions is if I were to take something along this line, and I want to actually arch the bottom of this letter going here, going up to make it arch, there is a distortion that's able to do that. So first off, text, I need to go in. We can go to distort, click on our text toolbar or distort toolbar, and as you notice, there's no option here that actually shows the bottom arching either up or down, but there is one for the top. So I can arch top and then I can use my rotate commands here to actually rotate that distortion. Now I can rotate that up, line everything, and checkbox here. Just keep in mind, when you distort it, it converts that to shape, or converts it to a path, so it's no longer going to be text. All right, so I guess Katrina as well as Fran, does that answer your questions on that? All right, looks like we don't have any more questions at this point. I really want to say thanks for everybody and their patience, of course. You know, it's one of those things that we do run into technical issues every once in a while. I would really like to say a special thanks, or give special thanks out to Stuart. He's actually in charge of our website. We've now redesigned, or Stuart, not we, has redesigned our website. It's now public. So if you get a chance, please take a look at our new website. It should be a lot easier to navigate in order to actually go through and look at, for example, the events that we actually have. You can go to the thinksai.com website. You'll go to support, and here you have training and events. So when you click on that, you'll actually be able to see the calendar of upcoming events as well as any additional webinars that we might be coming out with. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call. You're also welcome to send us an email. We would be more than happy to help out. We got one last question, then I'm going to end it here, Jarrett. It says, where is this distort text? Well, it's just simply the distort option. So it's not necessarily a distort text. It's I'm typing out text, and then I'm actually applying a distortion to it. So once I type it out, I go to Effects, and I go to Distort, and I click on my toolbar here to choose the distortion, and then I can actually rotate that text or rotate that option in order to get whatever effect that I want. Then I hit my checkbox, and you're done. All right? Well, then I will go ahead and close this up. Everybody, thank you for, again, your patience, and if there's anything we can do to help, let us know. Thank you.